Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Geekkast Podcast. My name is Greg St. Clair.
Dan Whitehead.
Patrick Howard.
How's it going?
Going, guys.
We're going to go ahead and kick things off with our pick of the week. Dan, if you want to go first with that.
Sure. So last night, I finally sat down and watched the Doors movie, starring Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison, and I realized how good the Doors actually were. Like, I knew, obviously, that they were good, but I kind of had forgot about them. They were one of those quiet bands that you kind of forget about. But it, like, resurged my interest in them, and the movie was really well done. It was one of the better biopics I've seen on somebody because it just, like, it showed you his real, like, descend into kind of, let's say, madness, and then into the end. Who he tragically obviously died at 27. That's not a spoiler. That's a fact you can look up.
Life spoilers.
Yeah, it's the truth spoilers. But yeah, so it's a really good movie. Check it out if you're interested in the Doors or if you're interested in rock and roll music of the 60s and 70s. It's definitely
I love rock and roll music.
Rock and roll music?
My favorite kind of music.
Rock and roll music really is. And
holy moly. Like, it is.
Right. It's really good stuff.
It's really good.
Yeah. What about yours, Greg?
Mine. So I was bouncing around a whole bunch of things before this, but I just recently watched the new Anthony Jeselnik stand-up on Netflix called Thoughts and Prayers. And for those of you who don't know Anthony Jeselnik, he's a very harsh comedian. His jokes are very just like blunt and just I don't give
matter of fact. I
don't care what anybody thinks of me. What was the one? Oh, the one joke was he was talking to the audience member and asked him what he did for them, like electrician. He's like, "Oh, electrician, that's a good job. That's a classy job. There's a lot worse jobs out there. Like my uncle works at a summer camp for kids who are about to be molested." Like that was one of his jokes. It's so awful, but that it's like the shock humor. It's that shock humor that it's one of the things that I find funny in life. Yeah, so that's my pick of the week for those who have Netflix and are human. Check that out.
So you're being prejudiced against those that aren't human?
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
Okay, moving on. My pick of the week is Good Will Hunting, which I think most people are aware of, even if they haven't seen it. But it stars Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Pretty much, I think their first big role, actually. I think in movie, and
that was like their breakout.
That was their breakout role
for Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Yeah,
And it's also their breakout in writing, and it's actually the best part of the movie is their writing and just how they write dialogue. And I was like, watching it, I was like really envious of just how it sounded and how it came out from the actors and delivery. It's like that's kind of the dialogue I want to aspire to write.
Well, that movie would not have been made if it wasn't for Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like the one that like believed in them to make it and like all that kind of stuff. So like nobody else wanted to make it, and he was like, "I'll do it." And so they're like, "All right, well, if we have Robin Williams,
he definitely gave the film credibility, and I think it's Gus Van Sant's best film that he's directed.
I don't think I've ever seen anything else by him. At least I wouldn't know if I did.
Yeah, he did Milk and a couple other
I
films
did see that.
But yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it.
I told you guys they're cousins, right? Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Yes,
I was kind of surprised by
that.
that. I always knew they were good friends. I didn't realize they were cousins.
Yep.
Fun fact. So Friday, Dan, Patrick, and we saw Bridge of Spies together.
Correct.
Which stars Tom Hanks in a movie that is about a kind of big-time insurance claim lawyer who gets asked by the U.S. federal government to represent a Russian spy. That this takes place in the
I think it's 1959.
50s,
late 50s.
Late 50s.
The height of the Cold War.
Height of the Cold War. And from there, to representing a Russian spy, he has to negotiate a deal with Russia because Russia captured an American spy and has to negotiate a switch between the three people because also Germany captured or has hostage or whatever you want to call it in jail a American student. So it's like a 2-for-1 switch that Tom Hanks character James Donovan pulls off, and it was really good. I mean, it wasn't like amazing, like groundbreaking anything, but for anything, it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, and I watched a review by Chris Tubman, who's like an online reviewer for you guys who don't know. You guys should check him out. He's really good, and he made this good point that there's kind of two kinds of like Spielberg historical films. Like ones where like it's Saving Private Ryan, where it's like gritty and real, like and visceral, and it's movies that I think you can watch more than once.
Right.
And also you have historical films like Lincoln, where it's well acted, perfectly directed, but it's the film that you can only watch once a year and almost just more so appreciate it than love it, in my personal opinion. And I think Bridge of Spies, for me, was in the same vein as Lincoln, where
It even kind of felt or looked like Lincoln too.
just I think
coloring.
the pacing and just the look of it was similar to Lincoln, and it was once again perfectly acted by Tom Hanks and also Mark Rylance, who plays the German spy Rudolph Abel,
Russian spy.
Russian spy. Sorry,
He's from
my bad.
like England.
Yeah, who's
whatever,
born in like England, but
Yeah.
it's a great movie, but I can only really watch it like once a year, perhaps.
Yeah.
And just I wasn't like gaga for it after we left the theater.
Right. So much so that like if you went years without seeing it, and then it was one of those where it's on TV, you'd be like, yeah, all right, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
It was worth the money to go see it in theaters.
But I don't feel like you don't need to rush out to buy it on DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that.
Well, actually, I'd probably buy it on Blu-ray, but like if I were to have you guys over, I think we'd watch Saving Private Ryan.
Over that,
Over
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
I mean, it's Saving Private Ryan.
Well, it's funny. I made that joke when we were watching the movie because he's talking about Tom Hanks is like getting called out for basically helping a Russian and by a cop who's like, I served in World War II. Like, I don't want this happening, blah, blah, blah. And then Tom Hanks is like, character was just like, I served too. Like, I know what I'm going. And I was like, yeah, he saved Private Ryan.
He's having
So
Solid joke.
all of those movies are connected. Indiana Jones is in that world. He's kind of retired in that. So
Yeah, he was the guy that was, I don't know, doing something.
Okay. Good one. That was good.
Wasn't that great? Wasn't that?
Yeah, that
was so
good
It
joke,
is
man.
hot in here. It's
Yes.
So, I'm sorry. I'm like sticky already. It's just,
I hate being sticky.
yeah, it's gross. Just, I mean, for you, I guess you're kind of used to it over the weekends and such,
Right.
because that's how you pay for school.
Right.
Is doing podcasts.
Yeah. hot, sticky
Hot.
podcast.
You going on the Stern show? What's going on?
I would love to be on the Howard Stern show.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know if I'd want to,
I would.
because like I recognize.
I feel like I'd want to like observe than just actually be a guest.
I
Yeah.
think he's too much of an asshole.
You think so?
Yeah, like I recognize like who he is and the significance of what he's done for like modern media today.
Right.
But in the same sense, I think he's an asshole, and I probably would not like have a drink with him. I'd want to hear the stories, but I can just do that by Googling it. Like I don't have to see.
Or
him in
watching his
person.
movie, Private Parts,
Yeah, true.
which is
Very
actually
true.
a really well done movie too.
Mm.
I think I mentioned it before on one of the other episodes that I liked it a lot.
That's cool. Don't remember that.
Well, thanks.
But moving on, another
right.
movie we just saw recently, and it just came out on Friday as well, is the first Netflix original movie, Beasts of No Nation,
Correct.
which stars Idris Elba, and they have Agu is Abraham Attah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the movie about kind of African warlordy, where the National Reconstructive Council, whatever, decided to not agree to the agreement they had with all the small villages in Africa and started shooting civilians and just taking over. And during this time, Agu and his family are in one of these villages and they're trying to escape. His mother and little sister end up going to a neutral city. And his father and his older brother stay in the village, and they're running. And spoilers, yes, big spoilers coming up. And as things are happening, Agu's father and brother end up getting shot as they're trying to escape because they're mistaken for rebels. And Agu just runs through the jungle trying to escape, ends up getting picked up by rebels, and the commandant for that is Idris Elba's character. And through that, just following Agu and these rebels going through and trying to take over from the NRC is very, very intense. Patrick was saying very, very intense.
But kind of like with Apocalypse Now, it's like very beautiful, to look at, and the cinematography is great.
Yeah,
It was.
It was also shot by the director Cary Fukunaga.
who did
True Detective is his biggest work. Yeah.
Right.
He did all 8 episodes of True Detective, the first season.
He's not attached to
The better
2, is
season.
he?
I think he produced
I would
it.
say if anything produced it.
Yeah, him and like the writer Nick something, I can't think of his last name. They became, I think, close, and so he helped like produce the second season.
Oh, they became close.
Yes,
Good for them.
friends.
Good for them.
Yep.
As close as those that family in the Campbell Soup commercial.
Hmm?
The new for the Star Wars ones. Remember we saw that? I think it was a commercial in between like air or something where, so the new Campbell Soup line is like Star Wars themed, and the one.
Oh yeah, with the gay
one,
couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the gay couple. The one guy's
Oh.
like, "I am your father," and the other guy's like, "No, I am your father." We're just sitting there like, no way, that's so cool.
I know. Like,
New age.
Yay, we made it.
grew up.
No, we have not.
No, not closer, but
Baby steps.
mhm.
But yeah, Beast of No Nation definitely it takes on the role of kind of showing us as not people from not that region how things are and how people are treated. The scene where the commandant takes advantage of a goo is very
Not seen, but
Well,
very
it's
much
implied.
implied.
very much implied. It was implied earlier too with Stryker. Did you
Yeah,
guys- you guys
yeah.
see that?
Stryker,
I saw.
yeah.
I was like, oh, is he about to get raped? What? And I was like, and then like I saw it when a goo came in, and like this, it's a shot of Idris Elba and then a bed, and you're just like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that, all the drugs that happen in between the different takeovers of bridges and towns, just very
Yeah, there's a great scene where they take over like this one town, and like for a moment, I think I saw it as like through Agu's perspective, but like the color just goes to like red.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, the whole scene, like
I think
everything.
he was on drugs, right? That's why he was
I
seeing
think,
it like
yeah,
that.
which I thought that was brilliant, just how everything at that moment was like red, and that's how he was. That's how we saw.
Yeah, like that
He was seeing
pinkish
it.
kind of
yeah,
pink white kind of look.
And so I think direction like that is what made this film really brilliant.
yeah.
The chances that he took.
One of the coolest things I saw as far as like visually is when they're waiting to see the Supreme Commander, and Idris Elba like blinks real quick, and all of a sudden it's nighttime. Like, do you guys notice that at all?
I think
I missed it.
I
but
think
it
I was
like
looking
almost
down
like a
or
jump
something.
cut where it
yeah,
did go to
yeah,
nighttime.
because they were trying to meet the Supreme Commander of the Rebel Alliance, I guess.
Yeah, the Rebel Alliance.
And they've been waiting for like hours, and he just like blinks, it closes his eyes, and then he opens it. And it's like nighttime outside now. I thought that was like a really, really cool transition.
Yeah, it was well like constructed movie.
Yeah.
My only complaint with it was I think it ran just a hair long.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have just tightened up some of the scenes. Maybe I think it was like 2 hours and 10 minutes. You
Yeah, I can
probably
see
could have
that,
got
yeah.
it even just to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been good, or just even a little shorter than that. But I don't think it really lagged so much.
No, there were
Not
some,
really. I think like near the third act, I was kind of feeling its
Yeah.
length.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like-
That's not. So when they meet the Supreme Commander, he tells Idris Elba's character, the head commandant, that he's being demoted, and the 12IC or whatever they called
2IC.
2IC is being promoted to commandant. And Idris Elba takes his character's heavily on drugs and drunk most of the movie. And he takes this as a sign of a threat, and they decide his rebellion is going to rebel against the Supreme Commander.
Mm-hmm.
And during that transition into that role of the theme, it just I definitely feel like third act, it was kind of like, okay, I get it, I get what's going on. Could we just move this along a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have been interesting to see what happened to Idris Elba's, because obviously all his soldiers abandoned him, and then like we follow Agu for the rest of the movie, and we don't really see we see him like.
No,
kinda
I would
get
like
back
to
into
see
the
like a
same-
scene of him either getting like taken out by the Supreme Commander,
yeah,
Yeah,
or
honestly,
arrested or
just
something.
some closure of what happened to him.
Right, he just gets left
Because
behind.
Idris Elba, like other than Abraham Attah, who really impressively carries the film, especially
Holy
even,
crap,
even
yeah.
when he's not interacting with Idris Elba. But Idris Elba, I think just the direction that he went with his character, almost like it's like as he's brainwashing these soldiers, like just with the repetition with his
Right.
lines, like just even with that,
Yeah.
I thought was great. Like because I think that's how they just approach it with these child soldiers that they
Yeah.
just brainwash.
Well, he plays the old like, oh well, I'll be your father, I'll be your,
Yeah.
you're my son,
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
very like comforting kind of thing, and that's how I
and of
think.
course, you can see the obvious, like, comparison of, like, this is what I think Agu could grow up to be if he just continued
Yeah,
to follow.
and that's obviously what he saw too, kind of just sticking around and following him. And I think when he gets taken advantage of, is kind of the start of the turning point of him and how he feels about the rebellion. Of like, oh, he's been so nice to me, but now he just did this. And you also see Agu's friend in the rebellion, his name is Stryker, and Stryker never talks. ever since Stryker's the first one who like captured a goo to bring him to the rebellion, and once that scene happened, he's like, okay, that's why Stryker doesn't talk, because he was also taken advantage of by the commandant.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very, very dark, emotional. But I was talking to Dan earlier, like, do you think this would be counted as like a movie? Would it be like a TV movie?
Well, it's also in select theaters too.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was going to be, I was just reading a thing of trivia. It said it was going to be in like bigger theaters, like AMC and all that stuff. But Netflix like broke some kind of rule or something. So like the big chains are like boycotting the movie. So the only way you would see it is in small independent theaters or on streaming.
Yeah.
So technically it would be.
Well, I'm sure they're
an
super
actual-
pissed off because they're not getting maximum profits like they normally would for a movie.
Right. Because Netflix spent $12 million on distribution rights.
Wow.
Towards the film.
And
So
I'm hoping the Academy will recognize.
I
Oh,
think
me
it will.
too.
It recognizes
at
the
least-
shows.
At least
least-
for cinematography.
Yeah, something.
Oh
It
my
has to be
God.
nominated for something. Even the Goose character was just amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Fantastic.
really, as for like a child actor, really, really good.
And the very like
emotionally.
last 10 or 5 minutes of him, just I think it was great.
I think
Kind of thought provoking.
his strongest acting chops came in the scene where they kind of storm that house and he mistakes that one woman for his mother
That was like
and then like pulls off and then he walks back in, shoots her in the head, and then they're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And he just walks out, doesn't say anything else. That I think was like the big
it
turning
was like
point.
scary
for
and
him.
also kind of confusing, just like
Yeah.
he was in that scene.
Yeah, he's only the actor's actually 15.
Is he 15?
Okay.
He was
He
born
looks
in
younger than that.
2000/2001. He looks a lot
I
younger.
think his character's supposed to be like 11 or something.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger, but still young age. That was very, very good.
And that was filmed in Ghana.
yeah,
Like they filmed like right where this stuff kind of goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But they never said, oh, this is
it's like
Ghana.
an
This
unnamed
is
African country.
yeah, but the kind of stuff that happens is like
it happens
key
a
points.
lot in those. Like I think it happens so much
Yeah.
that you don't really need to say where it is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it could be any of
Well,
those.
like the Coney. Is that
Coney,
right?
yeah.
All the Coney stuff that happened in like 2012, 2013, whenever that was
2012,
happening.
yeah.
It's like it reminded me of Hotel Rwanda, but that's like from the perspective of the refugees.
Right.
Mhm.
This is actually
From the
who are
soldiers.
caught in the middle of this movie, which is almost like you could have it as a companion piece. This is
Almost,
between
yeah.
the two.
Yeah. I'm really excited for more Netflix films. I'm really happy for Netflix.
And they are really
like, good job, Netflix.
they're
Like-
shaking up the industry. They really are.
And it's
I'm so
it's
glad.
amazing. It's just so cool how they're doing it. Like the way they're going about it, and just like what they're putting out there, is something that was unforeseen 8 years ago. Nobody would have.
Well, now I know they signed Adam Sandler to make 4 movies. Well, first one is going to be Sinister Six, which is like a comedic version of like a Magnificent Seven kind of a thing, and then he's got 3 others, and then somebody else.
Isn't the
is-
Sinister Six
The
for
Spider-Man.
I'm not. So what is it? Something 6. Like
I think I've heard of it, but
it's a look that up because
Yeah.
you're right. I knew as I was saying it, I was like, it doesn't sound right, but I'll keep going
Spider-Man.
with it.
Ridiculous Six?
Ridiculous Six. Yeah. So you'll have Ridiculous Six, the Magnificent Seven, and the Hateful Eight. But yeah, and then he's got 3 others after that. There's a Pee Wee Herman movie coming out in March. It's like a holiday special,
Yeah, I remember seeing that when he was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
which I thought it was going to come out at Christmas time since it's a holiday special. But I guess either they already, I don't know if they planned it to come out next March or if maybe something happened where they had to like push it back or whatever. But that's coming down the pike. And then either way, I want to see more just from Cary Fukunaga in general.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
totally.
I
He's
think-
slowly becoming like my favorite director.
Favorite? Wow.
Well, whatever.
He's done like 2 things. Okay.
I was like it's like rising one of my favorite directors.
I was like, wow, to
Yeah,
just
but
give
Abraham
him.
Matai's my favorite actor.
He also
right now,
did
so-
Yeah.
Jane Eyre, which I want to check out now.
That's right, he did. Michael Fassbender is in it.
Which one's that about?
It's like one of those old, like kind of like a Wuthering Heights kind of a movie, like those old like Victorian kind of thing.
I think it's a Jane Austen
I
book.
remember
and,
hearing about it, but I just don't remember what it was about.
Hmm.
Speaking of Michael, didn't Jobs come out this weekend too?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, come out this. Was that this weekend?
Recently, if not,
came
yeah.
out, yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see him in the Assassin's Creed movie
Yeah, they're filming that.
because
It's
I'm really
underway.
excited to see what that puts out. Because Assassin's Creed is my favorite game series ever.
Jeremy Irons is in it,
Mm-hmm.
so that's exciting. I don't know what he's playing, but
He's probably. He's probably playing the like the Grandmaster. I can't think of his name because they're doing the Altair storyline, which is the first game, and with that, there's he's kind of like the rambunctious, like out of line in a way, assassin, and then there's like the Grandmaster assassin, which I'm assuming Jeremy Irons going to play. And spoiler alert, he's evil.
Jeremy Irons.
So
no way.
I guess in theory, if they make sequels after this, it wouldn't be Michael Fassbender every time.
Not true. So the way it works with the games is that the main character is Desmond Miles, who is the guy they use to access his memories from all the assassins, and each assassin up until I think it's all of them. They all look like Desmond in some way. They all have the same. There's like a mouth scar that's very similar. The way their face is structured is very similar. So it could be Michael Fassbender every time. They could also just morph the characters in a way to make it look like him. Because I mean, Michael Fassbender could play Desmond the entire time. Because if he has to play anybody, it has to be him. Because Desmond's like a reoccurring character in all of them. There's a game mode inside the memories, and there's also a really important one outside the memories.
I see.
So they have to balance that out. But I mean, in theory, he could play like
if he
Altair,
nails the role, then I think
Ezio,
they'll probably want to keep him.
Yeah, and if the movie does well too, and if it doesn't, there's going to be a ton of angry nerds, including myself, about how this movie is not done well. Because the game, it's so emotional. Like there's very few. It's rarely any games so you get like really like tied into the characters. But the Ezio series, which is Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, you follow this guy for 3 games back to back to back, and you just love his character. You love who he is as a person, and then by the end, you're just like, you're just feeling it. You know what I mean? So it's really exciting to see how that's going to turn out.
So jumping ship here a little bit, we're going to talk some Marvel stuff.
Some Marvel stuff. Yeah.
Some Marvel stuff. Well, first, before we get into the bigger news, we're going to talk. X-Men is coming to television.
Yes.
And
I did see that.
They're doing FX is going to be producing a show, I think it's called Legion, and it follows Professor X's son as this title character. And I don't know, like I think they're in the early stages of like a pilot or something. Like that's not much to it, but that's what they were announcing. And then of course people are wondering, well, is that going to connect to the X-Men movies? Is it, because he's never like hinted at as having a son or anything like that. I mean, we're still following him
as he did.
Yeah, we're still following him as a young man now with First Class series. But like, but
he's an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be interesting as far as like a Red Hood type thing.
Right. Well, speaking of anti-heroes, they're also thinking of doing Moon Knight for Netflix.
Oh, I think I did see that.
Which is their equivalent or their answer to Batman. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that very closely when that comes out, or if it comes out.
If it comes out, yeah. The other Marvel thing that was really freaking people out and getting people really excited this week was that Marvel reacquired Fantastic Four from Fox. And several hours later, Fox is like, "No, guys, we still got it." And
we're
everybody's
still going
like,
ahead with Fantastic Four 2.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Effing reason. I don't know why.
I don't mind Fantastic Four, but their entire superhero ownership relies on the X-Men Apocalypse and Deadpool. And if it doesn't go well, they're going to have to sell them off.
They're not X-Men because they're getting X-Men down right.
Well, I know, but we've seen the pictures for Apocalypse, and Apocalypse looks like the Power Rangers villain.
But I mean, it's just a picture. I'm kind of waiting for like a trailer.
No, and I understand that, but I'm just saying. Speaking in general, it's these two movies because Fantastic Four is already they're kind of messing that up. They don't really have Spider-Man, or that's Sony. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Sony.
But Deadpool looks great. It looks great, and X-Men progressively through the franchise has gotten better and better. So it all just depends on these two movies, but I'm telling you, if these two movies don't work out, they're going to have to. The public is going to be just such an uprising that's going to make them sell it back to Marvel,
right?
Which isn't the worst thing. Like
No.
Fox, we understand that it's kind of a huge moneymaker for you guys, these movies, but you have to understand that to civilians, they're not just movies to us. It's how we like to. Live our lives and escape and view the world and like through these characters' lives. And if You're sucking, man. That's all I'm saying. You're sucking. You gotta get out. Get the fudge out. You know.
Well, what's the other big news that came?
As far as the casting.
Yeah, what's the other big casting?
Rosario Dawson. Well, this isn't really well, it's kind of Marvel related since she plays. Oh my God, what's her character's name?
Claire in Daredevil.
Yeah, Claire from Daredevil. She is casted as the voice of Batgirl.
That's right.
In the Lego Batman movie.
Yes, Lego Batman movie. Yeah,
not the game.
Right.
So that's interesting. That people just can't pick sides.
That's right.
So
so far they have. So far they have. Was it Jonah Hill as the Joker?
No.
No. Oh wait, do they?
Is it? I thought it was.
I'm looking this up right now.
I don't think it is.
The only thing I can think of when you said that is
I know he plays Green Lantern in the Lego movie, but I thought they cast
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I can think of is that scene in
Lego Batman movie.
Yeah. Is that scene in Ted 2 where it's like, and the new Superman for the new movie is Jonah Hill, and Mark Wahlberg's just like, fuck! Hope you guys enjoyed that. Michael Cera's voicing Robin.
I guess it was Michael Cera. I don't know.
That's really funny. I think that's good.
I think that's, for like what?
For a Lego thing.
For like a Tim Drake, probably, yeah. Jonah Hill voiced Green Lantern for his brief cameo in the Lego movie. Doesn't say anything.
Look up the cast.
I thought it was misread.
On IMDb. IMDb, International or Internet Movie Database, a great source for all things movies and television.
Michael Cera's Robin. Zach Galifianakis.
That was what it was.
The Joker.
Joker.
That makes me a little bit happier. And Will Arnett is Batman. He was in the movie.
He was in the Lego movie, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the only people I think they have listed in the cast. So, no, it's good. Jonah Hill. I love Jonah Hill. Don't get me wrong, but to see him as Joker would just be a waste.
Well, he'd be a Lego, so it'd only be his voice.
I don't. Hey, a Joker's a Joker, man. It doesn't matter to me.
I guess.
You guess.
I guess.
Still would be
You
saying
guess?
him, so it kind of differs.
Bitch, you guessed it. What?
And then the other Marvel news that is strongly rumored this week is the possibility of...
this is confirmed, but go on.
it's confirmed.
Yeah.
That Michael B. Jordan...
Oh, no.
Oh.
That's what I get for jumping the gun.
This is still strongly rumored that Michael B. Jordan is going to be cast as Boba Fett, and the Boba Fett standalone movie.
No.
That doesn't bother me a whole lot. Like, I'm not a big enough Star Wars fan for this to greatly affect me. But at the same time, I'm like, pick another franchise. Any other franchise.
He's got a franchise that he sucked at.
It's not that he sucked
It's not
at.
he
The
was
script
sucked.
sucked.
He's still a great actor.
What you're saying right now is like blaming Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern. It's not Ryan Reynolds' fault.
I guess.
It's not Ben Affleck's fault that Daredevil sucked.
No, I guess you're right.
Yeah, exactly. It's not him. He's a fantastic actor. He's going to be in Creed, and he's going to kill it in Creed.
I'm excited for him in
coming up.
Creed.
It's not him, but at the same time, I don't think he could fit into the Star Wars universe. I don't think he could. I think it's just him and who he is. It's nothing against his acting talent. It's like when Zac Efron went in for an interview for the new Star Wars movie. He's not a bad actor. I actually like Zac Efron as an actor, but he does not fit the world, in my opinion.
Right.
In my
Well,
opinion.
this makes me think if they do cast Michael B. Jordan, then I think Boba's going to take his helmet off, which I think they shouldn't do at all.
I disagree. I think they have to take his helmet off.
It's kind of like Dredd. You don't need to take his helmet off.
But if it's an origin story, you want to know who the man under the mask is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's supposed to be like, he gets his suit and how he becomes the Boba Fett that we know in the original trilogy, you got to have him start with no mask and like origins. That's It's not like Batman where he has Batman's never gonna have a whole movie where he's in costume the entire time. At some point, he's gonna have to be Bruce Wayne.
Right. And if it's not an origins movie, that's not an origins movie. And he's playing Boba Fett, and he's just.
If he's already established as a Boba Fett, then okay, leave the helmet on. But if you're gonna do origins, how he becomes who he is, how he gets his rivalry with Han Solo, helmet's got to go.
Yeah.
At some point.
So we'll see.
But
Honestly, they're obviously going for talent, so that's why I'm not like.
Yeah.
See, I was saying to Greg the other day, I said I think they should ask the dude that played him in Attack of the Clones, who played Boba Fett as a kid.
Is he still acting?
I would guess. I mean,
I'll look it up.
Either if it is, it's small stuff, but just to get him back, like that'd be really good for like continuity to have the same kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's old enough now, I think. Depending on I guess it depends on how old they're thinking of going. Because if not, then maybe they can ask the guy who played Jango Fett.
Which could be interesting.
Right, because he is a clone of Jango Fett.
Where is he at? He'd be Boba, right? Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Daniel Logan,
Mm-hmm.
who was 10 years old. He was born in 87. He's young enough. He's young enough.
Of course, he did voice Boba in the Clone Wars animated series.
Mhm.
Right.
He's young enough. He hasn't. What's he been doing recently? Just Star Wars Underworld TV series. Star Trek Continues. A lot of Star Wars stuff. Pretty much just Star Wars stuff. He was in the Hercules TV series, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Bring him on.
Call him up. Give him a couple
Call
mil.
him up. Yeah, let's call him up right now.
Yeah. Let's get him on the phone.
We'll do it. We work for Star Wars and Marvel.
I wish.
And then the final, because I don't know if I said final earlier, but now the final Marvel news.
Oh, you're saving the best for last.
Saving the best for last is that the Hulk has been confirmed for Thor 3.
Thor Ragnarok.
Let's give that up for that. Let's give it up for that. I'm super excited about that. That was a weak ass clap.
Golf clap. We don't want to like
Blow out the mics.
blow out the mics here.
Well, I mean, I screamed the fuck word earlier, so I mean, it's a little rough.
Stop saying the fuck word.
You said the fuck word.
No,
I don't have this banter again. It's not funny 2 weeks in a row. But he's confirmed.
3 times you can do a joke.
3 times?
Yeah.
Everybody gets 3.
And the third time you have to change it up a bit, make it
Right.
interesting.
But he's confirmed, and that's really exciting for future Hulk endeavors. Dan has a theory. Dan, would you like to share your theory?
I'd love to, seeing as it's mine.
All right, cool.
Party. So, my theory is that Hulk is going to be found by Thor. Maybe it'll probably kind of pick up where...
Hulk left in Avengers 2.
Yeah, the end of Avengers 2 where he's kind of leaving, and maybe before Thor leaves, he stumbles on Hulk or something, and he like takes him with him to kind of like cool out a little bit, and he ends up not, and then the Ragnarok could be that he fights Hulk. That could be the Ragnarok that they use. And then he kills Thor, so it's the end of Chris Hemsworth, at least for now, and then Hulk goes and does his own, like it sets up Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk.
And then so for Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, there won't be Thor, which is a shame because I'm still waiting for them to do Thor correctly.
Well, the problem with that is there could be a Thor because in the Civil War book, Tony Stark just uses a piece of Thor's DNA and creates Robot Thor.
I don't think you're going to see that because he created Ultron, and that was already a big change because it was supposed to be Hank Pym and...
But see, the way they could spin it is that Infinity War is against Thanos, and Thanos is a very, very, very powerful super being, otherworldly super being.
Right.
I think everybody would be on the same side, including Cap, that to create Thor to help against Thanos. I think everybody would be okay with
He's
that.
one of the most powerful
Exactly,
people.
and not all of them can take on Thanos. So I think having as much help as possible would be okay with everybody. So I think they could spin it that way and still recreate Thor as an android. I think it could happen.
What do you not like about Chris Hemsworth's Thor?
Oh, no, I love him as Thor.
Oh.
I think that the movies themselves are
okay.
misusing him. I think that they're not showing Thor at his full potential.
Right.
And, like, they kind of use him as... Like, I know, obviously, in Avengers, there's a lot of characters in there, so some of these kind of have to be smaller and stuff. But it seems like even in his own movies, he's still not reaching full potential. And he's had 2 movies now. Like, the first movie, he's barely even Thor. Mm-hmm. It's only at, like, the beginning, which he really doesn't... Like, he fights a little bit. But then most of the middle, like, the second act and into the third act... He doesn't have his powers, so he's just a human. And then at the end, he grabs the hammer and, like, suits up or whatever. But, like... And in the second Thor, which was not so good...
that felt like the most filler Marvel movie.
I only watched a half hour and fell asleep afterwards.
I watched it twice, and both times was just like, why did I start watching this? Like, the one time I saw it in theaters, so, like, that, I wouldn't know that it was bad. And then the second one, I think I ended up watching it again just to, like... continue, like, remember stuff that happened since everything's connected or whatever. But otherwise, and like they kind of got rid of Loki in it. You know, like they made him that he's now the king of Asgard, but nobody knows it. And then Tom Hiddleston recently said he hasn't heard from Marvel in like years.
Yeah.
A couple of years now.
Which is odd because you think they got to
He's
address
so
that.
good. He's so good.
They got to address that in Ragnarok since
Like,
he's
yeah,
like
the fact that like what his role was in the first movie, and then they even brought him back for the second movie, is just like, what are you doing?
They actually reshot a lot of the second movie to have more Loki.
Yeah, exactly. And like they're just, come on, Marvel.
Yeah, people want Loki.
Yeah,
But that's the thing is, as much as we all like Loki, they give us more Loki, and then we get less Thor. So it might as well be a Loki movie, not a Thor movie.
I'm okay with a Loki movie. I think a Loki movie would be really good. I think there should be, before Infinity War even happens, which obviously they can't do this because it's too little too late. There should have been a Rise of the Villains movie.
Okay.
Or an overarching movie. It could even have been a 15-minute short, 30-minute promo, whatever, of how Thanos picked his pawns. He just picked them up and how he set the gears in motion in order to acquire all of the Infinity Gems. I think that would have been really interesting from a fan's perspective, because the villains in Marvel, at least the overarching villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, are very, very good at what they do, and there's so much more depth to the characters that Marvel's leading on, such as Loki, such as Ultron, such as Red Skull. All these characters have like such deep backstories that, I mean, they're doing it right now where they're just filling it in, but if they don't unleash all of Thanos' potential in Infinity War, I won't watch another Marvel movie. I won't watch Part 2 or whatever continues after Infinity War. I'm not going to watch it.
I was going to comment on Red Skull. I think that they totally just kind of threw him away. He's supposed to be
Him
like
and Ultron. They were both throwaway villains.
They were supposed to be those respected characters, Jokers.
Yeah.
To their Batmans, and in the first movie, like for Captain America, it was just poof, he's gone. Well, where is he? He didn't die. He went into the cube.
Yeah.
So I think that they should have it where Thanos pulls him out of wherever he's from, and they he sets him loose again now in present day against Cap, and
cool.
that would be a huge thing for Captain America to be like, shit, he's back. Now I have to fight him again.
That'd be great. I mean, Ultron's still not officially gone yet either. Like they easily can reconstruct him. It doesn't take that much effort to do that.
Right.
Loki's still somewhere. You're bringing Loki.
Infinity
does Hulk
War
even have villains.
Yeah.
What's
I think
Hulk's
so.
like? I'm gonna Google that. What's like
Arch
Hulk's main
nemesis.
villain?
The dude that
The general. That's
Yeah.
all I can think.
No, what's the dude he fought in the Ed Norton Hulk movie? That's like one of his arch.
The Abominable? Or?
The Abominable, yeah. That's one of his arch nemesis.
Well, the other thing too is, which they kind of address it, but they don't really. So Drax the Destroyer is actually a character that was created by Thanos' father to kill Thanos. And they don't ever address. I mean, I know they don't address it because it's not fitting to that world, but they don't ever address that. Hasn't been talked about yet. That's like the one thing I haven't seen talked about as far as like overall Marvel overarching characters, because like that's who Drax is. He's not some dude who was on a planet, saw his planet get destroyed, and then killed everybody. He was actually like created by Thanos' father.
So he's the only one. Is that what you're saying?
Drax.
Yeah.
He's the
there's
only
no
one.
other one like him.
And he's the only one like him, and he was created to the exact same ability as far as like overall strength as Thanos, to be the only one that could defeat Thanos. Obviously, he never defeats Thanos because Thanos is badass, but at the same time, it's just, what do you
see?
doing?
That's where I think with Infinity War, obviously they have to go all out. This is like Infinity War is like the peak of it. I don't know where they're gonna go for like what's after Infinity War if they kill off a lot of these people. So what they'll probably, what I think they should do is Infinity War. Thanos is obviously causing trouble. He brings back a bunch of the villains, Loki and Red Skull, and maybe the Mandarin, maybe from Iron Man 3, the actual Mandarin.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. They bring them all together. It's like they're fighting them. It's like we can't defeat them. Somehow they get a distress call. Or not a distress call, but they get a call from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Guardians show up on planet Earth and help them defeat Thanos and his goons.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They're probably going to be. Have they been confirmed yet? To be
They
in
said that
Infinity
they really have no plans to connect them yet. But it's like, why? Why not?
War? Yeah, well, they
Well,
already,
you
they
gotta
already
keep them
are.
in space. Don't put them on Earth.
No, they already are connecting them. They've already connected them as far as Thanos.
Thanos is the only
and,
thread that connects
who was
them.
the villain in Guardians? Started with
Ronan.
Ronan. All the Infinity Gems. They're already connecting the Infinity Gems. All the movies are already connected. And
Right.
if you're not going to bring them in for them, what is the point of even having Guardians? There's no point of even having them in the universe.
I wouldn't mind, if
'Cause
Guardians came in Infinity War, but you just don't put them like on Earth, because that's the appeal, is that they're Marvel's Star Wars characters.
So then maybe they fight them in space or something.
Yeah,
Like they
something
help
like
them
that.
on the space front.
Yeah, which is fine. Maybe that happens with, I don't know,
Maybe
Hulk or
have them
someone,
fight
or-
on Thanos' territory.
Maybe
Android.
Hulk finds them.
Yeah, finds them. Maybe Android, because Android. What book was that? That was
Actually, it would be
actually
too late
in
for
the
him to find it.
Infinity War. A lot of it is them traveling through space,
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to take out Thanos.
Right.
That is the Infinity War. So maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe they take the heroes off of Earth. Maybe it's not even Thanos. Well, I mean, Thanos wants to destroy Earth. Isn't that the main thing?
Yeah. Well, everyone's always wants to destroy Earth.
Well, his in the comics, his overall thing is that he has to destroy half of the living planets or whatever
I think so. Yeah.
to impress Mistress Death, who I doubt they're going to mention in the movies, unfortunately. But maybe that's it. Is that they're going through space to stop the destruction of all these planets,
Mm-hmm.
meet up with Thanos and kick some Thanos butt. Maybe that's what they do.
Right. Because I was gonna say Hulk can't be the one that. Now that I think about it, can't be the one that finds them because the Hulk movie probably wouldn't happen until after Infinity War,
Yeah.
and so it'd be too late
Mm-hmm.
because they would have to have planned the Hulk movie already.
Uh-huh. Which maybe they have. Well, probably not.
It could be one of the secret ones from 2020 that comes out, but Infinity War is 2018 and 2019, so it
Mhm.
would be after.
Maybe.
Because then they kicked Black Panther up a year.
Uh,
that was
no,
part of the
like
news.
Captain Marvel. I thought they moved.
Was
I
it
think
Captain
Black.
Marvel?
Oh, Marvel got pushed up. Or no, I'm
Pushed
sorry,
back.
put back, and then Captain. Not sorry, Black Panther got
Panther.
moved up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then they put Ant-Man and the Wasp where Black Panther was,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interesting sequel.
Which is interesting to see them. It's gonna be interesting to see how Ant-Man does taking out Thanos, or even his
he can
his
sneak in.
involvement.
He can get real small, sneak into his head, and then stab him in the brain.
No, like honestly, what is going to happen is no matter what, is Thanos is. There might be some aspect like that, but Thanos is gonna find the strength to just squish him. Thanos is way too powerful for that.
Or yeah, once he's in his brain, he'll grow to normal size and just boom, blow out his head.
Nah.
I don't think Ant-Man's going to be the one who... Yeah,
No, he's
takes
not
him
gonna
out.
be the
He's
one
not
to
gonna
take
go.
him
He's gonna. I think he might have an integral part in it. But
I don't even
It's
think
probably going to be Drax if they connect those two worlds.
Yeah, like I think that I don't even think that Ant-Man is going to be involved in any sort of combat when it comes to.
He's more for
the Infinity War.
espionage.
He's more for espionage, and he's also he's a smart dude. I think a lot of it's going to be how to infiltrate whatever. And Thanos does have like a small army. You know what I mean? Like it's an army, but it's not like the biggest army in the world. So maybe like trying to get more information about what's going on, and they're doing that already with Ant-Man breaking into something involving Tony Stark for the whole Civil War aspect, which is the bonus clip we saw at the end of Ant-Man.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know, things are happening.
I don't know if he's supposed to be in past Civil War though, Ant-Man,
That's a good question.
because obviously he'll have Civil War, and then he's going to have his own sequel. But I don't know if he's going to be in like a regular Avenger.
who do you think
No.
is going to die in Civil War?
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym, just him.
I think Hank Pym's going to be the equivalent of what's the big dude that dies?
Goliath.
Goliath.
Goliath. Okay.
He's going to be this version's Goliath.
Uh-huh.
In that he dies. Obviously, Ant-Man's going to join Captain America's side. That's pretty much confirmed already. And then Iron Man's going to be like, oh shit, like this happened or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he has a hatred, or they kind of like, Starks and the Pyms don't really like each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll play into Hope Pym. Is it Hope? Or I'm mixing up her real name and her character's name.
I thought it was Hope.
Was it Hope Pym? She'll probably it is Hope.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Hope Van Dyne because she doesn't take her father's maiden or her father's last name.
Right.
She takes her mother's maiden name.
So yeah, she'll probably be really super pissed about it, and then like it'll cause even more tension with them.
I know. Yeah, Ant-Man is they haven't. Paul Rudd's not supposed to be so far in Infinity War. Side note: Sausage Party's in post-production.
Woohoo!
So that's kind of cool. Sausage Party is the animated movie with Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jonah Hill, and all these guys, and an animated movie about one sausage's quest to discover the truth about his existence. That's gonna be hilarious. I'm sorry.
Like rated R animated movie with sausage.
Well, that new one
That'd
just
be like a first in a while.
No, a new one just came out with like T.J. Miller and Bob Odenkirk and Rob Riggle. It's like something about it's like going to hell, and that just came out. Mila Kunis is in it too. That also looks really really funny because the one scene is like the one demon's trying to get food at a snack bar. And he's like, "I'll have some pizza." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have pizza here, but it says you have Pizza Hut and Taco Bell." Welcome to hell. We only have Taco Bell. So it looks kind of funny.
But then for the Sausage Party, like the cast is really funny.
Oh,
it's going to be like this is the end,
cast.
but in animated form.
I mean, Kristen Wiig, Paul Rudd, James Franco, Salma Hayek, Edward Norton, Michael Cera, Bill Hader, Danny McBride.
Jeez.
I think Danny McBride is hilarious.
Yeah,
because he's a very like, especially like Eastbound and Down. It's very it's like douchebag dick funny. Mm-hmm. Where he just like says like the most repulsive things, and you're just like, that is hilarious. Mm-hmm. Craig Robinson's in it too. It's gonna be good.
I like Craig Robinson. I think he's really
That comes out August of next year.
August of next year.
August of next year.
That seems a while away.
Yeah. This week with Gotham and Flash and Arrow, moving on. Good week. Another really good week for all of the superhero shows. Gotham is.
Do you realize we're all sitting with our arms folded? No, now Patrick's not.
Patrick anymore.
Okay.
No, I missed that.
I don't want to be the conformist, you know?
Whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Jeez.
Now we're all sitting with our fingers crossed.
Gotham was different with Jerome this week for sure.
Without him.
Without him.
Yeah.
But it was still good. It wasn't as exciting because there wasn't a whole lot of like combatual scenes. Mm-hmm. But it was still and moved the story along, and it was still really good. The biggest show. Are you watching Gotham right now?
Yeah.
Did you watch Gotham on Monday?
He's behind.
Oh, so you're on like season
1.
Still on season 1. Okay, so can I spoil something? Can I just spoil this episode for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. So the biggest shocker in the entire episode is Alfred slapping the shit out of Selena Kyle, who is like 12 years old in the show.
He's this grown ass man, smacks her across the face. And he's like, "Get out of here!"
Nowhere.
Did that get any backlash or anything at all afterwards?
As far as like acting and stuff?
No, just like
from the community. No.
Oh no, because I think it was not to say deserved, but it made sense for the story, and it's not like he actually feels that way towards her. It's like that's just acting, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But there's just so many like viewers like.
Nah, I know everybody's
everybody's
offended,
sensitive about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he smacks her and is like, I think it'd be best if Bruce never saw you again, basically.
But then you see her at the end, and she's like actually like upset because like people are like, "Come on, Selena, let's go," and she's sitting there like in tears and stuff. So it really shows you that she deep down does have feelings for Bruce,
which is the overlying emotional feel that Catwoman has for Bruce in cartoons, comic books, movies, whatever.
Yeah, they still haven't gotten that. I don't think they have gotten it right in live action yet.
What?
This Catwoman like
Batman thing.
Batman. Yeah, obviously they've done it now with Dark Knight Rises. They've done it with Batman Returns. Mm-hmm. But I still like don't believe it as much as I do in Gotham.
I thought Dark Knight Rises was pretty good with Anne Hathaway.
She wasn't Catwoman though.
She worked that suit, man.
She did, but that wasn't Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, is the one who kind of embodies like the crazy half, split personality of Catwoman.
Well, hers definitely fits the Tim Burton movies.
Comic book, yeah.
But it's not what I want, personally, in a Catwoman.
I'm curious to see. My favorite so far, like I said, is the Gotham relationship because maybe it's because we're seeing him as young age or whatever.
And that's also like it's a little romantic, but still.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like, I mean, she was his first kiss and like all that kind of stuff, and like so they share that like connection as far as like love since kid, like a long time romance and stuff that we didn't see in the movies, because in the movies it was like they came into each other's lives at adulthood,
right?
So it's not as
and that
deep.
was a more strongly sexual kind of relationship.
Mm-hmm. This one's more like Oh,
cute.
he's
First love,
cute.
kinda like-
Yeah, cute. Like not even brother sister, but just like first relationship kind of a thing.
But now they introduced Silver, who is
Silver St. Cloud. Yeah.
Silver St. Cloud, who's normally just a rich, preppy kid at whatever academy that Bruce is going to, who's very, very popular. But she's the niece
Niece / ward of Theo
Gallivan. Yeah. And Bruce is smitten so hard for her, which is really.
I don't blame him.
No, she's a very pretty girl.
Yes.
That's the legal term for me to say that.
Yes, she's a very pretty girl.
Very pretty girl.
Well, I did read the news, and this was confirmed that Paul Rubens is going to play Penguin's father, which I think is that's perfect.
This is cocaine. You ever seen that PSA? We watched it in our screenwriting class. Pee Wee Herman did a PSA about cocaine,
Nuh-uh.
and he's like, "This is cocaine.
This is crack.
Yeah, or yeah, this is crack. This is what could happen to your
Is it
body if you
glamorous?
did it." It's like what? And it was just all it was him sitting there with like a single light
It's
on.
really dramatic when it
Yeah.
opens up.
Didn't he get caught jerking off in a movie?
It's
theater?
funny,
He
like
did
that's you think that's what he'd be doing
After-
PSA for.
after
that.
this,
all
yeah.
the Pee Wee Herman stuff. Then like that
Don't
happened.
jerk off in a
And then
movie
you
theater.
saw him again on the Tonight Show, and you thought it was like Pee Wee Herman again, of like just like the way he like presented himself.
He is Pee Wee Herman.
like
That's
the way
thing.
like you wouldn't think that guy would jerk off in a theater. Like he doesn't.
It was
look,
it was like a porn
yeah,
theater.
yeah, it was like a porn theater. But either way, it's still gross.
Ew, gross. It was. I'm sure he wasn't the only one to do it. He was just the only one that got caught.
And
Oh,
was
yeah.
famous too.
And yeah, and the fact that of who he was, I'm sure had a
Right.
giant effect.
But
on him
now
as
he's
well.
back, and he's back. Like he could have made a huge career out of just being Pee Wee Herman, like that character alone, and he did.
He already did,
but it could be even that much bigger, more of an influence.
Well, the movie's
He
coming
kind of
out.
like tainted it as legacy.
Right, we mentioned it earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's coming to Netflix.
Right. But yeah, that was really good moving that along. Michael Chiklis is finally in the show.
Yeah, I don't know if I like Michael Chiklis, but I don't know if he fits for Gotham.
Is he a?
He got
is he a cop?
Well,
He got big. Yeah,
he got bigger. He doesn't look very healthy right now, but he's
a captain.
He's
He's
the new captain of the GCPD,
we won't tell you why.
and I like his character. I like what the character's trying to do. I'm kind of like pro Jim, where Jim like kind of like wants the rebirth of the precinct, but at the same time, Jim's freaking out because this new guy is firing all of the cops who have done wrongful things. And as you saw from the first episode where Jim kills that guy for Penguin, he plays into that category. So Jim's kind of freaking out right now.
That's right.
So he's
I
not
forgot
playing
about
his corrupt character from The Shield.
that. No,
Okay.
No.
he's more a straight shooter.
That's
than this
good.
one. But he plays it kind of like Vic Mackey, which is from The Shield, but a good Vic Mackey.
Not like a dirty cop.
Right, he's not a dirty cop. He's a good cop, but he's still like that
He
same
still
like
doesn't take the
tough,
bullshit,
like
yeah, kinda like-
right. Because he comes in like, which was kind of weird the way he they introduced him. He basically picks up a chair and like throws it on the ground, which wasn't even that loud, and people are like, like in turn, like in shock, and then he's like just points to the cops like, clean this up. He goes, okay, I'm Nathaniel Barnes, like
I do this,
like
and this, and
this and this, and like, all right, you're fired, Like it was just a weird like entrance for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, I like Michael Chiklis. I thought he was one of the stronger pieces for Fantastic Four. Him as the Thing.
Absolutely.
But if he didn't stick around very long, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, we'll see how he is next week's episode, or tomorrow's episode rather. Flash, we saw more of Gay Jarek.
Gay
We
Jarek.
saw a little
He's
bit
in
more
Earth 3. Yeah.
Jay Garrick, which is really cool to have him kind of parlay the Harrison Wells role onto Barry, which Barry wasn't so far excited for that, but it was interesting to see that transition and Barry dealing with that as well. Don't you think, Dan?
Yes. I really like the Jay Garrick character. I like him as a mentor, and that's like Greg was saying. It's basically what he is. And of course, Barry's hesitant towards it at first and is like almost
He's
rude
like saying
towards him.
verbatim what Harrison Wells
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Like,
Kind of like, you got to find your full potential and like all this kind of
I
stuff.
believe in you.
Yeah, I believe in you, all this kind of stuff. And so then at the end, though, and we also find out he doesn't have his powers,
Yeah.
which is
Garrick.
interesting. Jay Garrick doesn't have his powers. But he just so happens to have his costume. And but he's like, oh, but I don't have my helmet. And they're like, oh, well, we have it. Like this random thing that fell
Small
through
world.
a portal. Yeah. And then he like puts it on
Two
and like
small worlds.
It was like the old classic where like he's looking down, he puts it on, and then like looks up heroically.
And he looks so dumb. I'm sorry.
Like, dork. I think it looks bad when he's wearing like street clothes, but in costume form, I don't think it looks as bad.
Because it's like I think it's the same color as his jacket.
It makes his nose grow just like 10 times. Like that person. What's the actor's name?
Teddy Sears
does not look good in hats and should not wear hats. But we also met the love of my life. We met the love of my life.
Oh god.
Patty Patty Spivot. Oh my gosh.
I missed another pivotal
she's
character.
So hot. She's your Sarah for me. Like the way Sarah's to you.
Sarah Lance.
Sarah Lance.
Oh.
That's how Patty Spivot is to me.
Okay.
Already in one episode. I'm in love with her.
He was like, oh my god, she's so hot, like all this kind of stuff. And then
the entire time.
But you missed. We also met Zoom.
We did meet. Well, we saw more of Zoom. We haven't met Zoom, but we saw Zoom.
Yeah, and we saw him in Jay Garrick's world, which was kind of interesting, and briefly into Barry's, where he
drops off
he basically drops off Sand Demon.
Stupid name.
It is, but Sandman was already taken.
Sand Demon sounds like an overarching villain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't sound like a throwaway.
Right. And then, so then Zoom's like, if you want to come home, you must first kill the Flash.
Yeah.
And like that was actually pretty good, wasn't it?
Actually, that wasn't bad.
That wasn't
that was like
bad. It wasn't too bad.
That's
like Dr. Claw from.
They basically hired like, thank you. Yeah, Inspector Gadget. No, they hired a not a voice actor, a regular actor who has a cool voice to come in and voice him, and then he's like all blue and like moving even faster because he's the fastest speedster out there.
Although I hope he gets just a little bit more interesting because so far I just
Zoom.
Give it time.
I don't know. So far I just seem okay. You're just another Reverse Flash. I'm just not really into him right now.
Well, here's the difference between him and Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, is Eobard Thawne ran fast like Flash does. But with this one for Zoom is he doesn't run fast. What he does is he actually can freeze time, move to somewhere else, and like unfreeze it kind of thing. That's how he moves. Yeah. So he moves between the two time space.
He's also available in a different world.
Okay.
Right.
That's the main thing.
And he's blue, which that's not in the comics. They changed it so he doesn't look exactly like.
Is he like
Reverse
like
Flash.
gray in the comics or black?
No, he's yellow, just like Reverse Flash is.
Okay,
like,
well at least
so they did that. I'm glad that they did that.
Yeah, me too.
Like even more confusing.
Yeah, it's really annoying. And then we also got a peek towards the end, which is very, very exciting and just like what the hell is in the Earth 2. There's a tour group for Star Labs, and the tour guide's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to the pride and soul of whatever." Harrison Wells, and Harrison Wells is walking, and he says it in the tone, "Good evening, children." He says it very evilly, and it makes me think that like, is this Earth 2 Wells also super evil? Like, what's going on here? But maybe it's just the way he said it. I'm probably thinking too much into it, but it's just also another thing that was.
I was still thinking more into it on how the Flash still has his powers, and it still doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Because if they killed him, that he wouldn't be in the future. It's like, okay, yeah, he still did the stuff from the past, but if he was not in the future, then he wouldn't have came back in time to have all this happen.
That's the whole thing with the Flashpoint paradox.
Right.
When Barry saves his mom in the comic books, he doesn't have his powers anymore. Mm-hmm. By Eddie sacrificing himself, Eobard Thawne never existed. Eobard Thawne never killed Barry's mother. Maybe Zoom killed Barry's mother. Who knows? But as of right now, Eobard Thawne never existed, never killed Barry's mother. So how would Barry have his powers? There was no like weird like time fizzle phase.
The only way to like basically you couldn't kill Eobard Thawne. Like Harrison Wells, you couldn't kill him if they did it correctly.
I guess is the theory of Final Destination. Like no matter what you try and do, something always finds a way to even things out.
The only way to do it is you'd have to capture him. You just have to imprison him, just so that Barry can maintain his powers.
Yeah.
Unless, no, actually, it doesn't make sense because even if his mom was still alive, he wouldn't have joined the CSI for Central City.
That's just the common obstacle you get when you deal with time travel.
Mm-hmm. Right. Something.
But like every movie or TV show that has time travel has like so many fucking plot holes because it's just theoretical.
Except Back to the Future. No, just kidding.
Oh my god.
What? No, but like it's still like a big deal. In the comics, it's never an issue. In Flashpoint Paradox was never an issue.
Right.
I mean, the overarching things of Thomas Wayne becoming Batman, whatever, like that's obviously a side thing,
Just super cool.
which is very cool. But I mean, they'll clean it up. What?
What
George's
if
Thomas Wayne theory to come true?
No, I was gonna say, instead of doing the whole Oliver's dad now thing, what if they just did another world where how they can tease? I know how they can connect it to Gotham. They have it Bruce Wayne dies in one of the new worlds, the other worlds, right? Let's say Earth 3.
Okay.
He dies, and then that Thomas Wayne that played him in like the guy that played Thomas Wayne in Gotham becomes Batman in that world because of this Flashpoint paradox, if they decide to go further with it. And then he comes to Barry's world, Earth 1, and is Batman. That's how you can have Batman on the show. What do you think? Is that too much?
That's a bit of a leap.
I don't want Batman on the show.
You think he'd overshadow?
Yeah. I mean, it's unnecessary, and we talked about this last week too, as far as like the Green Lantern, all the big heroes go. It's just not necessary. Batman does not fit into the CW network.
And
No, it
I
doesn't.
like integration. I like multi universes.
It's different for the
But like just how
cinematic.
I don't want Daredevil to be like in the Avengers movies or in the cinematic universe.
I
He's
do.
great as in the television universe.
I want him to be in the Avengers at some
I think
point.
just his tone just wouldn't match. Because the Avengers movies
It's so bright and day.
bright and more family friendly. Daredevil is
You're
not
right.
that.
But I don't know. I think even just to have him as a cameo or something in Civil War
Well,
would
that's
have
really
been cool.
interesting too, because I have a friend back home who's a huge Marvel guy, and he was talking about how DC fans complain about how Marvel Cinematic Universe is too light, but then they watch Daredevil, and then how Marvel thinks that DC Universe is too dark, but they watch Flash. Which it's interesting, but in the same sense, I could see Grant Gustin's character being the Flash in the cinematic universe, because that's who the Flash is.
As of now, I just want him. Yeah, I do too.
Right? Like, I mean, the other characters have some dark things too, and I still think it's weird when I see, like, when I read Civil War and Daredevil was in it. Like, I knew Daredevil, but like after I haven't seen the show, but after seeing like trailers for the show, it's like that's really interesting how he's there, because his tone doesn't fit with any other hero.
Mm-hmm.
But I think DC does a good job of, like, yes, there are some heroes that have like a brighter tone to them, like a Hawk Girl, which is a dumb hero anyway, but like she somehow fits into this. But they all kind of fit in their own way. So I just think that's interesting that like I can still couldn't you see like still like Grant Gustin's character like fitting in the cinematic universe, like
Oh yeah.
because it's still dark. Like
Yeah.
there are still dark aspects of it. There's lighter jokes, which Arrow's getting into right now as far as Oliver.
Thank God.
Thank God. But I don't know. I think they can still fit in there.
Well, I mean,
So-
Arrow's more noir, kind of like Batman.
Yeah,
but
it's
Flash.
definitely getting out of that though. In a
Which
way,
I'm glad because
it's holding on to it, but it's getting out of it in the same sense. And we
I'm
can
actually
segue to
getting
Arrow this week
interested
right now.
in Oliver, which I wasn't really. He was just kind of there for me.
Do you want
the
do
previews.
you want us to talk about Arrow episode 2, or do you just want to watch that and we can talk about it next week for a little bit if you want to, so we don't spoil it.
I
for
think
you.
this time actually we can watch it.
You want us to wait?
Talk about it next week.
All right.
Okay,
Actually,
we'll
I'm
wait.
getting into it season 4.
Okay.
All right, we'll wait on that one.
I think it's it, right?
Yeah, so that's it for this episode of Geekkast the Podcast. I'm Dan Whitehead.
Greg St. Clair.
Patrick Howard.
Party on.
Party on.
Party on.